This is Miss Kemi, the editor-in-chief of Myyoungtoronto magazine. We're here in Mount Dennis today. We're going to be talking to the NDP candidates here in the local riding, and of course, Andrea Howarth, the head of the party, is also going to be here at this rally today. We're going to be talking to some of the local politicians: Vrind Sharma from North Etobicoke, Dalbir Singh Kathuria from Brampton, and of course, the great Ferreira of our neighborhood here, York South Weston. Well, let's go in the sea of orange. I met with Vrind Sharma and I spoke to him about his ambitions and what he plans to do for North Etobicoke. He was very, very into the young kids and getting them away from crime and so many other good things. So here's what he told me. Vrind Sharma, Etobicoke North, candidate for NDP. Vrind, how are you today?
Good, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Andrea was here, I spoke to her, I spoke to all the other candidates, and now you.
Yes.
Myyoungtoronto is a teenage magazine. Teenagers especially have had issues in the area, and you heard what Andrea said to all the media. What do you plan to do to give these children a vision? There's a lot of crime with teens and young people in general.
And crime especially is a growing concern in Etobicoke North, and we need to create more youth programs because they correlate with one another.
Yes.
We need to put these youth in better programs, get more federal funding for the youth of that riding so we could get them off the streets and more involved in programs outside, get them more encouraged in volunteer work, and that's not happening right now, and we want to make a change, and I want to speak for myself and don't want to, like our leader said, we don't want to go waste our time going after other party leaders or party members. We want to tell you what we're going to do for you, and we're going to create better programs for the youth out there.
And that's true, because that's what's happening. There's not enough programs out there.
Right.
We need more money from the feds for this. Myyoungtoronto magazine is not your everyday teenage magazine where the kids will see the music section, the entertainment section, the fashion section. There is a political section and a crime section.
Right.
We are going to be tracking things because so many kids were killed this summer.
Right.
This week alone, 12 straight shootings in the Toronto area.
Right.
And we're trying to get them to do as many positive things as possible. What made you get into politics?
I just like roots from my grandfather. He was actually on a political party in India. My mother's a big social activist.
Really?
So I've always been growing up this way, helping the youth, senior, doing toy drives. And I've always been working with the youth. I've been a huge advocate for the youth. And I'm like, the best way I can kind of go out and work with everybody together is kind of be at a political platform where I could be a voice for them.
Yes, some people did tell me that too.
This is the party that puts people first, and this is the best way to do it.
This is the best way to do it. We've been talking to Vrind Sharma, Etobicoke North candidate for NDP, Ontario NDP. Election day is October 6th.
Please come out and vote for me and vote for change.
I also spoke to another MPP running for Brampton West, Dalbir Singh Kathuria, who told me that the vision for young children in his riding and every other riding should be focused on education, all the way from childcare. What is your vision for the young people in Brampton? You've seen what's been going on around young people these days. Crime. What is your vision for them?
My vision is you have to just educate the young people also, because that's through the schools and, the charity, we had to, I told even Andrea Howarth said, our vision is really true and really clear. So we had to look after the young people, also look at the child care. Even though they closed the 300 child care center last 4 years. We want to open that also because that's the base, that's our future. If we don't think about our young generation, how can our future? Our future is our young generation.
Exactly.
Our future has to be bright.
And you're the one part of the sign, save people first. And yes, people are first.
Put the people first.
Yes, and young people too, because today they don't have much people to look up to. A lot of these young people are now voting age, and they need to be voted for these things, because if they don't vote, nothing will happen. It's so nice to see you, and good luck.
Thank you very much.
It's about a month left. Ferreira has been described as a very charismatic young politician. As York South Weston's previous MPP, Paul advocated for an increased minimum wage. He also advocated for clean, green public transit, improved supports for seniors, and fairer taxes.
The income is inadequate when the cost of living goes up the way it has. And one of the reasons why it's gone up is the McGinty and HFT on essentials, on hydro, on heating, for those who still drive on gas for the car.
Yes.
It's really taken a big bite out of monthly budgets. We want to take the tax off those things, begin to give seniors a little bit of relief. I firmly believe that once you sacrifice and work hard your entire life, when you reach your goal years, you should be able to live with dignity and some economic security. For far too many seniors in York South Weston, that's not the case.
It's not happening, and hopefully we'll see this with the NDP. We've been talking to Paul Ferreira.
Thank you.
And you are Portuguese, because I have a client called Ferreira. Can you just tell the camera you are watching Myyoungtoronto Teen magazine and tell the kids to stay positive?
Stay positive, keep hope alive, be optimistic, be kind, be generous, be loving. That was a message from Jack Layton. And if you are 18 or older, October 6th, please get out to vote.
Myyoungtoronto Teenage Magazine at Myyoungtoronto on Twitter. Paul Ferreira, thank you. After Howarth was done with the rally inside, she spoke to the media outside in a press conference format. I asked her what vision does she have for Ontario children with regards to crime.
Andrea, Jack Layton brought a lot of young kids into this government as MPs. What's your vision for Ontario children, young kids here in crime? What's your take on that, young children in Ontario and crime?
Well, there's no doubt that there's a lot of work that needs to be done to make sure that our young people have a chance in life. And again, part of that is going to be discussed in our education platform. We know that families need support to create a decent quality of life for people. And all of that is what our platform is about. It's about putting people and families first and making sure that they know that with the new Democrat government, life will become more affordable. We'll get the HST off of a number of their bills. Healthcare will be more accessible. We'll make sure that waiting times in emergency are cut in half, get rid of those long-term care wait times, get rid of those wait times for home care services, and we'll make sure that good jobs are available for people. All of those things will help children as well as their families.
Thank you.
A week later after the rally, Ferreira met with residents of York South Weston at the Jane Street Hub facility. What was billed to be a debate between him and Laura Albanese didn't happen. She didn't show up. Ferreira continued to discuss the issues with residents. Paul Ferreira just spoke here tonight at 1541 Jane Street at the Jane Street Hub. The elections is almost a week away. Paul, how are you? Thank you for talking to us again.
I'm great as always.
You showed up here to what was supposed to be a candidates forum. You're the only candidate that came up here today.
Yes.
Amazing. I got to tell you, people I spoke to here had a lot of concerns. I saw all the concerns on the wall, what you were going to fix and all that. My first question for you is basically crime. York Weston has suffered a lot of crime in the past. 2009 was a bad year. The Globe and Mail called us Toronto's new murder capital. I still have the article. What are you proposing in terms of crime prevention among our youth? We have lost 2 youth here this year. Gregory Taylor down the street on Tretheway, and also Shane Williams coming off the bus with Jane and Dundas. What is your plan for the youth to keep them away from crime in York Weston?
Well, I think that the key is to give youth some positive outlets and give them opportunities to make positive choices.
Yes.
I think it starts with meaningful employment, training, and educational opportunities. I'm somebody who has advocated continuously to harness the public infrastructure investments that are being made in this part of the city, harness them in a way to create jobs. And I believe in something like a community benefit agreement, which becomes in effect a contract between the community and the agencies responsible for the building of the public works. And let's set aside a percentage of jobs for young people in our priority neighborhoods and our priority communities.
Sure.
And if you can teach them a skill, a trade, it becomes a portable thing that takes them from job site to job site, and that gives them a much more positive opportunity for future success for both themselves and their families.
Yes, many of the young children, we saw the federal MPs are very young. We had 6-1. God bless Jack Layton. You know, a lot of young people saw this and they were like, oh wow, the NDP, you know, maybe one day I'll be in this party, maybe I'll be an MP. It's really a good outlook for them. With regards to families, there are a lot of families in this area, Paul, a lot of families. I saw some of the families asking me questions. Minimum wage, the children only make so much money. And when these kids don't make enough, they go out and sell drugs and do other things that they're not supposed to be doing. With regards to housing, that's an issue. And I know you spoke about housing. What's your basic
what you're going to do with regards to good housing and all the different things?
First of all, we have to begin to rein in the cost of housing.
Yes.
We need to bring back rent control, real rent control in the province of Ontario, like we had at one time. The present system doesn't work. Rents continue to go up. In fact, they're going to go up by an additional 3.1% in 2012. So let's bring back rent control to make the cost of how the housing stock now more affordable. Secondly, the government has to get back into building affordable housing. I'm a big supporter of the co-op model, which brings people with different levels of income, comes into one entity, one community. We have to get back into building co-ops. And then affordable housing, but specifically rent geared to income units. The current government has fallen woefully short in building those rent geared to income units. In fact, when the NDP tried to find out how many units had been built that were classified as rent geared to income, they were less than 500 across the entire province. There is a substantial waiting list of 75,000 households in Toronto. It's at least 115,000, I believe, is the figure across the entire province. We're not doing a good enough job of housing people in affordable, decent conditions, and I think that needs to be a priority. Everyone in this province should be given a decent, safe, affordable place to call home.
I see all the stuff that you went through in there, and I just wanted to briefly say it was a great job you did here tonight, Paul. OHIP, the wait for OHIP for new immigrants like me, 3 months, and they want to get rid of that. And you know, Canada's a great place and everything, and everybody here has a need, you know, and we want all the politicians to tell us. We want all the politicians to show us what they're doing. And you're the only one here tonight, and a lot of these people really take that personally because many politicians don't show up at many things. And I thank you for talking to us on Myyoungtoronto. We're reporting live, and we're here with Paul Ferreira, NDP candidate for October 6th election. Thanks for talking to us.
It's a pleasure as always. Thank you.
You're welcome. And there you have it. Our journey with the NDP has now ended. It was really fun. Myyoungtoronto met with Andrea Howarth, the leader of the party in Canada. We met with MPP candidate for York South Weston, Paul Ferreira, and others who are running in different ride-ins. Reporting from Toronto, I'm Miss Kemi for Myyoungtoronto magazine.